Before we start, just a quick FYI. We are a One China podcast, so try to no Tibet. Oh, no.
Welcome to Bro Taste This.
Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Welcome to Vida, Vino on Bro Taste This, where we break down food, wine news, and our childhood trauma. I am Luis Pablo, and joined with me today is Philip Golden Corral.
Hey.
We have a very special guest. Do you want to present yourself so I don't mispronounce it?
Yeah. Back at home, they call me Amy, but I go by The Tran.
The Tran.
Mm-hmm.
Welcome to the show. And then we have behind the camera, producer Adriana.
Hello.
And the four of us are all recovering from a very long wedding weekend.
Mm.
Juan is not on the show because he is busy knocking boots around with his new wife, Alo, who's been on the show a handful of times. And we just wanted to say congratulations to them.
Mr. and Mrs. Legend.
Mr. and
Mrs. Legend.
Exactly,
Yes.
Mr. and Mrs. As they should be pronounced. I was kind of upset that the DJ kept mispronouncing their last name.
More like the priest.
Yeah.
And the priest make do it correctly.
Exactly. They kept using some B word that I couldn't hear. But no, how are you guys today?
Doing great. Like you were saying before, we recovered and, getting my bearings back together, my ducks in a row, if you may.
Yeah. It was a very long weekend. I was not expecting it to go that long and to go so hard.
If it's fair to say, I'm pretty much all quacked out.
What do you mean by that?
Cut that one out.
Sorry. I got to go back to the drawing board for that one.
What do you mean by quacked out?
So I'm going to cross that one off my notebook.
He's like, maybe that one's not good.
No, that one kapoop.
Yeah, so people who don't know, we're recording on a very late Sunday morning. It's almost noon already. The wedding was on Friday.
Mm. We've just got through like the most hectic 72 hours, accumulation of years down to celebrating fun 72 hours.
Exactly.
But hectic as well.
Definitely lost a few years of my life over the last couple of days. But we started Friday morning and then Friday morning into Friday night, between the ceremony, everything. It was a long fucking day.
For a little bit, I thought I was actually like worried on Friday that I separated my pelvis because I got down on the dance floor.
You did get down.
Oh, yeah.
You were killing it out there.
Yeah.
You were the best man, by the way. The bestest man.
Please hold your applause.
Hell of a speech.
Thank you.
Hell
thank
of a
you.
speech.
It was pretty nerve-wracking trying to work on my Spanish, make sure I get the right pronunciation because, you're in a room full of like old, like hard-headed Mexicans, you want to do the best to get someone pleasable.
A few of them were a little confused.
Mm-hmm.
I have to say, I was sitting next to Juan's parents, and I heard, Juan's dad be like, "Oh, Felipe, make sure it's in Spanish." And you started speaking Spanish, and he's like, "Oh shit!" Like he was surprised, like he wasn't like he didn't have that coming. So that was pretty cool.
I wasn't expecting the first because of the translation. The beginning is like, for those who don't know, I'm Phil. My Spanish isn't the best, but this is important that I do it in Spanish. They were started like. Yeah. I was like, oh, okay. I didn't plan for that, but okay.
No, I think everyone just appreciated the effort. Because, shit. Did this go off?
Mm-hmm.
Am I still on?
No.
Not on. What the fuck?
But I'm on.
Yeah, you're on. Everybody else on?
Hey,
Yeah.
just 10 years back on and off. Haha.
Welcome back after a second.
There we go.
Phil, why don't you tell us about your weekend experience?
Well, to be fair, Luis, get back here. I wasn't done with you. No, it was great. It was pretty good. I did a pretty good speech, and I got groovy on the dance floor. Saw a lot of happy faces, a lot of old happy people. Can't go wrong with that. What about you? Passing the mic to Brown Excellence himself.
I thought it was really fun. I think overall, I'm really happy that Juan and Alo invited us to everything. Because then the next day, I was supposed to go to work, and I didn't. And I feel really good about it. I have no regrets. No regrets whatsoever. I called off, and not only did I call off, but then I stayed out until 2 a.m. that night. So 2 long nights back to back, and I would do it for our very special podhead host. Yeah. But enough about that. Let's get into the main topics. We want to talk about very popular WNBA player.
Mm-hmm. It's great that you it's great that you said that, right? About the That's an
Hello.
That's an alley up from our super producer.
Exactly. That's
super
why she's here.
producer A-Rod. Come on now.
All right, awesome. Thank you for coming to the rescue.
But the mentality of you calling in for work the next day and whatnot, you know, a little too much fun.
Yeah.
It's kind of the same situation that Brittney Griner's in at the moment. She had a little too much fun in Russia, and now she's 9 years away.
Yeah.
Calling off work for 9 years.
Exactly. You know, I feel like we should take a step back real quick, though. I maybe went a little too quick. Everybody knows her as Amy here in Walworth County, but your actual Vietnamese birth name is Date. Is a
The.
okay. I'm gonna, for respect, I will call you Amy for the remainder of the episode.
I also go by T.
T. Okay,
Yeah.
I'll call you T.
Spilling the tea.
Exactly. The reason we have you on is because you have a very different background to us. So obviously, as you mentioned, Vietnamese. You're also a childhood friend of Alondra's, who
Alo and Juan.
Alo and Juan, exactly. So we wanted to have you on to have a different perspective on their relationship and whether you think it's going to make it or not, and also some of your input on the issues that we'll talk about today. So to give you an actual introduction.
A bit of a yin and yang. You're organized, we're messy. You're a little bit of country, we're a little bit of rock and roll.
That's a little racist.
What?
Yin and yang.
Oh, that part
A
I
little
think.
on the nose. But yeah, Brittney Griner, or as everybody else is referred to as who?
Huh? What?
So to give a quick, most people know about what's going on, but she is a WNBA player who.
For the Phoenix Mercuries, I believe.
Yes.
For the Phoenix Mercuries, she and other WNBA players supplement their income by going to like Russia and compete in like the European leagues. Because, well, did you know that in America, women make about 70 cents less on the dollar than the male counterparts? That's a different podcast and a different discussion.
70 cents less? No, it's 77 cents to the dollar. So every dollar the man earns, the woman earns 77 cents.
And that's before Uncle Sam gets his share on that.
Exactly.
Brittney Griner was trying to follow the American dream in Russia.
Exactly.
Can't blame the poor lady. Poor lady.
What did they find on her, though?
Oh, while she was out there, smuggling contraband is pretty illegal, right?
Yeah.
They found less than a gram of cannabis oil, a little cart, little less than a little cart. Locked her up,
and now she's facing 10 years. No, 9. 9. The sentence was for 10, and the lawyer got 9.
That's a good lawyer.
What kind of fucking lawyer is that? Got 1. I think I could have fucking negotiated 8. Like 9.
I want a refund.
Yeah, literally. Girls, what do you guys think about this poor WNBA player? Do you the big argument is that her lawyer and some of the other people on her side is making is if it was LeBron James or if it was a real somebody else.
What, are you going to say a real basketball player? If this was a real sport, maybe we'd be more interested in it.
That's so awful. If it was like somebody else that they would have, the U.S. government would have done anything they could have to get her back.
Yeah.
Do you both think that's true?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, think about during the Olympics when they drug tested.
Oh, what's her name? Sharkeisha?
Yeah, and they just completely took her out of the race.
Wasn't it Shar or something?
Sure,
No, I don't actually remember her name.
Simone Bliss. Simone Bliss, the one chick that like.
Simone Bliss. Yes, the runner.
Oh, I'm thinking about the gymnastics lady.
My bad. That's awful.
Another athletic sport in their own right.
Exactly. Fighting is intense.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I do think it's kind of fucked up. Because if it was literally like any NBA, it could have been J.R. Smith, who's retired, and they would be like, get his ass back.
Wow. If history does serve me correctly, I do believe we try to get rid of Dennis Rodman by sending him to North Korea. So, I mean,
yeah,
we will negotiate for a person to come back, but we're also happy to send them out of here.
Yeah, he's him and John Travolta, right, are like big lovers of North Korea. That's fucking crazy.
You got to go where the money is.
What could you possibly offer as a nation to those two, like to Dennis Rodman? Like, what could you offer him?
Culture, hopefully.
a tank, like a fucking spot in the new army.
He's gonna deck it out and whatnot.
Exactly.
Chrome it
that's,
out.
That's fucking crazy. But it is really fucked up.
Hopefully she gets back home safely. They were negotiating about trading her for another with another American for like a Soviet Union arms dealer by the name of Victor Boutsk.
Victor Bout. So he was convicted in 2011 on charges of conspiring to kill American citizens, and not a good guy, huh?
No, they coined him the nickname of the Merchant of Death.
What a knucklehead.
Merchant of Death.
The Merchant of Death.
Dude, I work with a girl who's from Russia. She's like in her 40s. Yeah. So, and she's crazy.
You said you work with her?
Fuck it. During the part time, but yeah, she's fucking psycho, and she is like fully drinking the Kool-Aid. Like it is scary. Like when Ukraine was being invaded, and she's like, good. Like she fully said like that's what they get for messing with Russia.
They kept pushing the boundaries.
And it's like,
kept pushing and pushing.
Dude, innocent people are dying. She's like, well, think about all the stuff they've done to the Russian people. What the fuck?
She's fully in.
Yeah, and she's like, communism is great. You get your own apartment. You don't have to worry about working as much.
Now, quick question: when she goes like on your guys' lunch break, does she like pull out a lunch bag and then another lunch bag from in there and just keep going until she gets to her lunch? A little yogurt thing.
Those stacking dolls?
Yeah, a little Russian nestle. Always stick true to my country.
No, but then she always does this. She goes, "What do you think about the Russian government?" And then leans in, and you're like, "What do you have in your shirt? what are you trying to catch right now?"
How about the master key, huh?
Yeah, and
How about the master codes?
One time, so the job that I'm talking about is a restaurant job, and one time somebody was like, "Oh, are you like? Obviously, you have an accent. Like, where do you come from?" And she's like, "Oh, from Russia." And he was like, "Oh, what do you think about what's going on?" She goes, "I don't think about it." And then just walked away, and he was left blushing. And she was like, "Why do you want to know? Do you want me to be like, oh, I'm happy about it? Like, what the fuck?" She wasn't even like, "Oh, my condolences." Like,
Just no fucks given.
Yeah, she's like, "I don't." Think
Especially like in a Russian accent, like doesn't concern me.
Exactly. As someone from Vietnam culture, how do your culture and I guess you specifically feel about what is still going on that the media has somehow forgot about Ukraine?
Well, we're really big high in morals on like our people. So like I was talking to my dad about it and we were all like, that's so sad. Because we were just imaging, like my dad lived through the Vietnam War. So he knows exactly what they're going through.
Jesus fucking Christ.
It's just sad, and overall like you can't even like explain the amount of
like sadness and grief and
the weight of the sorrow is unbearable. Not only is the culture, but it's like the history and the everyday like little markets of stuff like this gone.
Yeah,
rubble.
And they're just stuck.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
yeah,
my dad
that's the
had
worst part.
When he fled Vietnam on a boat with like multiple people there, he was in a box on a boat just being shipped to the U.S. during the Vietnam War. So it's just like they're stuck in subway, like underground in the subways.
Jesus.
They go hard now with like people trying to escape, like refugees or people like fleeing their countries. Over in Britain, like a couple of weeks ago, they had a raft of 27 like immigrants just die in the middle of the British Sea or the British Ocean Canal because they couldn't legally help them. So like it's getting even trying to flee for safety is getting hard.
My dad always talks about how traumatizing it is. Like he wouldn't wish it on anyone, just how much dead bodies you see everywhere, and it's just constant everywhere you look.
Oh my goodness.
But how about that food though, huh? How about that food though?
I love that dim sum. No, what is that? Have you been to Sabai Sabai? Is that's Thai or is that Vietnamese?
That sounds Thai.
Never mind.
Sabai Sabai.
The only like Vietnamese place is like Madame Pho.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
There's not a big Vietnamese culture out here.
No, there's not. It's kind of a shame. Wisconsin really does lack diversity and a lot of change. But as you were talking about, there's also 80,000 tourists that are stranded in the southern-eastern beach of Sanya.
Sanya. Oh yeah. Sanya more like wouldn't want to be. Thank you. Thank you.
Could you enlighten us, please, on what's exactly happening over there?
Oh, with COVID coming back hard too. Comeback tour, if you may.
Exactly.
Sanya is more like the Hawaii of China, right? And any place that says like we're the so and so of this, like automatically assume it's going to be bad.
Whose phone is that?
That's mine. I made a little bit of context over the weekend of the wedding. If you know, you know. How's it going?
Alana just Snapchatted me, and it looks like she's drinking Pedialyte, so she's hungover. I'm kind of glad she is, because I'm like, how are you not hungover?
Yeah, she is going hard and strong.
The Mr. and Mrs. went hard.
Yeah,
This is her weekend.
Exactly. Hey, you know what? To touch back,
Sorry to interrupt.
No, it's okay.
that is very important.
It's like those 80,000 tourists stuck in China. They went hard to like, yeah, we're going to go back to the real world. Everything's going to have fun.
Nothing's wrong. This is going to be the family vacation of the year.
We're going to go hard.
We saved all our money for this.
Yeah.
No, the funniest thing about last night, real quick, was Juan's eyes were like barely open. Like he like one eye was like wide open and the other one was just like completely closed. And he, slurring and everything. And I was like, are you more drunk tonight or than your wedding night or the bachelor party? And he's like, I'm more drunk tonight than I've been in my life. I was like, God damn. And you know what?
Yeah, the first day of marriage is pretty rough. You gotta just drink it away. You're like, fuck.
He's like, breaking it in.
Exactly. He's like, if this one starts off bad, it can only get better.
Right? We can only go up from here.
Yeah. Oh, we love him. And you'll see him next week. Well, they'll talk about happy wife, happy life.
He'll be a new man.
Exactly.
Who you might not see next week is those 80,000 tourists stuck in Sanya.
Yeah. No, so they're stuck because of the COVID-19. And, alongside monkeypox, it seems like COVID is definitely making its way.
Oh, yeah. Silent but deadly.
I know. And it's like, damn, dude, I just went through a bunch of my fucking masks. Like, do I have to re-up and buy 500 more?
It's gonna be the new thing. As long as they don't cancel our transportation, like they go hard over there. The restrictions and stuff like that.
Yeah,
New York's the same way.
New York.
New York's
yeah, I recently started working in Madison, and a very liberal city, and people are in their cars and even outside wearing masks, which is like it's fucking 90 degrees. Like, you can probably lay off a little bit, but at the same time, people are starting to get worried again.
Yeah.
And it's like just when you thought shit was gonna be fine.
So you can't enter buildings without your Vax card.
Oh, in New York?
Yeah.
Damn.
You have to show ID and then a Vax card.
Do they do the QR system as well?
Yeah.
Because fuck. Just when I thought we were getting better at this shit.
Out of the woods.
Yeah.
I don't think we'll ever get back to normal. I think this is just the new norm.
Yeah, I know that phrase gets thrown a lot lately, but I think we're just gonna get to a system where it's like, oh, it's fall, remember to buy your mask, we're gonna be indoors again. Because what people forget, and I found this out during a high school science class, is that people don't get sick because of the cold weather. The cold weather makes us all get inside and spend more time shoulder to shoulder, and that is what gets us sick. It's not the actual weather. And so, you know what? If I have to wear a mask, is that the worst thing? No. I mean, it is kind of lame, but...
Well, if they start telling me to put masks on beaches and stuff like that...
Yeah, then I'm going to be pissed.
Yeah. Or I'm out there pandering for money, trying to get my next meal. They come up to me like, hey, put your mask on. I'm like, I'm trying to survive out here, brother.
Yeah. When I see people driving while wearing a mask, it's like, COVID's not going to get it in your car. You're going to be fine.
Yeah.
What? Can it?
Just keep Clorox wipes on
exactly
on the side.
Perhaps you're getting mistaken with 5G. Let me tell you about the dangers of 5G.
The 5G net. Once they turn this on, they're going to fucking kill our ovaries and our sperm, and then they're going to control the population that way.
And then the lizard people will crawl from the bottom.
And it's going to be like Handmaid's Tale all over again. But some other fucking Asian news is Nancy Pelosi.
Ooh, the House Speaker.
Or
Speaker of the House.
Nancy, please put your tits away. I mean, what the fuck?
Bro.
Who knew? What is wrong with her?
I always knew I liked Nancy.
She's the Speaker of the House? Mm-hmm. She's not speaking for my house. God.
Not dressed like that.
Relax. But she was the first, in 30
years.
To visit Taiwan.
First government position. And well, the last person that went out there was Nancy Pelosi too. She went there. She was a state senator for California with 2 other state senators, and they had like a memorial for the victims of the Tiananmen Square. Did I say that right? Tiananmen. Tien from Dragon Ball Z.
You were working on your
Tiananmen Square.
You were working on your Spanish all week. We'll give you a break.
It's okay, me too, Phil.
See.
But yeah, no, she was the first one to go over there in quite a fucking while, as you said. And just when they were like, we're not letting U.S. governments in, that they're gonna have no say, Pelosi strutted her shit down the hall.
Strut her shit. Yeah, she went to Taiwan, made some talks, and in response, China started doing some not correlated military exercises.
Non-correlated. Yeah, exactly. Just like, oh, she's here.
Let's just go out
there.
there.
Exactly.
Stretch our legs out a little bit.
Exactly. Let's remind her what we're capable of.
Honestly, though, I think President Singh were our contributor to the podcast. We're backed by One China money. China won. President Singh might have a crush on her, you know. Seeing that pictures of her in the bathing suit a couple of weeks ago, he's like, let's get the best men out there. Let's get the warships out there. This is what we're working with. Are you impressed yet, Nancy?
Let's try to convince her. Mm-hmm. Let's try to convince her to go on our side.
Well, I mean, that's what, correct me if I'm wrong, ladies, but isn't that what wins the hearts? A show of force? Oh.
That's how I got Adriana. I showed her my workout videos.
Yeah.
I was like 315 for squat, 165 body weight. That's not bad, right? Yeah, it's, twice my body weight.
Wait until you see my PR for curls.
But yeah, no, it's I do find that both situations are very interesting. That she went to go visit at a very specific time when like there's clearly a lot of malice between Asia and North America right now.
Yeah, tensions are growing.
Tensions are growing, and some people are worried, including me, about World War III, and also the fact that China were like, oh, you want to see how big our missiles are? Like, don't forget when you come over here what the fuck's going on.
Don't forget that we're the real big bad wolf.
Yeah, and just how suppressed the people are, and like, yeah, it's definitely not fun.
No.
Are you worried at all?
For Nancy Pelosi to come back home safely? Yes. Yes, I am.
That's actually a very good point.
They might pull Amelia Earhart and like she'll go fly across the sea and we'll never find Nancy Pelosi again.
Because she's been there since what, Thursday?
Amelia Earhart?
No, Nancy Pelosi.
Oh, yeah. Tuesday. Tuesday,
that's what it was, yeah. And it is now Sunday, so fingers crossed.
I guess we'll see.
Yeah, exactly.
I've been losing sleep over it, so I can get back to my normal sleep schedule.
Yeah.
The Speaker of the House is back home safe.
Something else that people are losing sleep over is Adidas.
Adidas.
So I talked to you guys briefly about it, but Addison Rae was posing in a swimsuit on her Instagram page with a Adidas collaboration with Praying, and you could only see the front or the top of her swimsuit, and on one tit it said Our Father or Father, and on the other tit it said Son, and people would assume that on her vagina it would say In the Holy Spirit, and obviously people were very upset.
Oh, it did say the Holy Spirit?
Yes.
Oh my god.
Because then people saw the actual like swimsuit, like all that you saw on her was like her top, but yeah, people saw the actual swimsuit, and on the vagina it does say Our Holy Spirit, and it's like, 80% of the population in America, and it's more than half, identifies as religious, and then like a majority is Roman Catholic, and everybody was very upset at her and Adidas.
They were all very upset at Adidas and surprisingly horny. Like, why am I so flustered?
What's that? You can't find it? Yeah, you just type in like Adidas Addison Rae.
Type in Addison Rae hell, probably. Maybe that'll pop up.
Hell.
And yeah, it's one of those things where it's like how it's such a fucking misjudgment call. Is that your phone?
Oh, that's not me. That was me. Oh, we just got notifications from the bride and groom.
Are they doing well?
They had a terrific night last night.
Oh, gross. I'm kidding. I'm happy for them. I'm very happy for them.
Yoke.
But yeah, no, super fucked up. And how, like, it's one of those things where just like, how would you not know that that's going to like completely you just misread the audience.
Mm-hmm.
Like I understand, like the Met Gala in 2020 or 18, I can't remember. It was an even number, but it was like Holy Trinity themed. So the Met Gala has a theme every year. Are you looking at the picture now?
It's not Addison Rae, but it's someone else.
Oh,
That makes sense because probably Charlie D'Amelio or whatever the fucking stupid ass name
Charlie
is.
D'Amelio.
Thank you. That makes sense that the Met Gala. There we go.
Yes.
That it was what religion, faith based.
Yeah, a couple years ago. So it's a way to do like religion and not be fucking offensive.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, we had to sit through a recent mass ceremony that was very long, and you do feel a lot of Catholic guilt when you walk in there.
Oh yeah.
You know, you're like, oh, you know, I was raised this way, and I'm an awful person, and now I'm here, and then you start thinking the intrusive
Yeah.
thoughts, and the demons are scratching
You
at the
think
door.
The statues are like staring at
Yeah.
you, like we know what you did.
They're always looking down.
About this.
What's that?
I think they're making it a big deal just because it is Addison Rae, because this brand has been going on for a while.
Exactly. So I think it's a little bit of both, right? So
Gender biases once again.
yeah, if it was Lil Nas X wearing it, no.
It's kind of cute, to be honest. It's kind of cute.
Well, she's well known for being hated on,
Right, so it's like
Addison Rae?
just
Mhm.
finding
Yeah.
something
Damn.
else
She's
to
like,
hate
well-
on her for.
but
Yeah.
I don't know. In my opinion, I'm just like, she's just a very pretty TikToker.
Yeah.
That's very
Mhm.
successful, and of course, people are gonna hate on that.
Yeah, it's very similar to when like Kim Kardashian first got started and like really started getting like a lot of notice, and her show was popping off, and people were like, you know, she's not talented. Why is she getting all this money and all this recognition? It's like, well,
She slapped her way to her position and fame and
exactly.
whatnot.
Yeah.
And the thing about it is that, you know, if you like something, you'll, you know, like Howard Stern was known for saying this. He was like a big radio host. He said, people who like me will listen to me for an hour. People who hate me will listen to me for 3 hours. And so the people that
Mhm.
dislike Addison Rae and all these like social medias, like our co-host Juan Legend does, he thinks that all of it is stupid. Like, I feel like that almost shows more attention than anything else.
Oh yeah.
Like, there's an underwear that says Holy Spirit from October of last year.
Yeah,
How come it didn't get any attention?
exactly, because it wasn't Addison Rae wearing it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, it's. I think it's really like, yes, it's offensive, but like, I don't know. Lil Nas X was just put out a fucking music video in the last 12 months of him twerking on the devil, and
And-
it was like a fire song.
Do you
And
guys
because-
want to see the swimsuit? I don't know if you guys want to see it.
I don't think Phil has seen it. I just saw the photo of Addison.
I mean, it's not Addison wearing it, but that's the old.
Yeah, you see, Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. It's a brand called Praying.
Brain. Was
Yeah,
that like
it's-
winning? Winning. Brain.
But yeah, as you can see, it's not
I
like.
think it's kind of funny.
I think it's kind of funny, but it definitely is like offensive. And again, you know, like, you know,
Design wise, I thought it'd be more like it really emphasized like father, son, and like really eye popping. But it's like a simple black and red colored
Yeah.
text to it. Not really eye popping, other than the provocative words to it.
right, like T said, it's like people are only paying attention because it's Addison. And, you know, I mean, Addison Rae put out a fucking Google Pixel, Google Home commercial, and everybody was like, fuck Google. Why are they
Yeah.
giving her money? And it's like, because people are going to buy it because
Yeah.
the 11 and 12-year-olds who watch her every day, every second are like, I want a Google Home. Why don't we have
Go
one?
home for Christmas. Like,
Exactly.
Honestly, the more controversy there is, the more money they're gonna make.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they don't give a fuck. They
Yeah.
know that they're going to
They're
get
like,
this.
yeah, let these guys argue while we make the money.
and you know, Addison's probably happy that that's the controversy she's getting, because do you guys know what's going on with her dad?
Wait, was he some kind of like former CIA agent?
Like,
That's,
No.
cheating on his mom.
Oh, what is it?
Like,
Elon Musk
very
did?
publicly with like a very young woman, like a very young lady.
That's not good.
No, so
Is Addison Rae the one that like quit high school or college and was like, I'm gonna be a
No.
TikTok
That
star.
was Olivia. That was
driver's license girl. I don't know.
Driver's
No, no,
license.
no, 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 no.
Yeah, I
That
don't
was
even know.
no. That
Isn't that
girl.
Olivia Rodrigo or something?
That is Olivia Rodrigo, the driver's license on. But she was the one that had her mom and dad pay like Harvard and like Ivy League.
No, that's like.
That's the girl that quit college to be a YouTuber. That's what Phil's referring to.
No,
I-
that's not her. What's
No.
Are you talking about the girl from Full House?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the girl that
Mm.
happened to. Yeah. Where
Yeah.
her mom is actually in jail right now for like I think 2 years. What's that?
still?
I think it was like 2 years. Yeah, they managed to see. She actually had good lawyers, unlike Brittney and Griner. That like a 20-year sentence went down to like 2 years and a very cozy. Like she still had like curtains.
Probation.
Yeah, exactly. She's gonna have like a book club in there, and she's gonna come out, probably write a book, have a
it's just
podcast.
like a retirement center for her.
Exactly. This is a break from her. She's like, I can use the vacation.
From Full House to the Big House, my life and story.
I'm sure that's what's gonna happen. She's gonna come out. She's gonna have a sponsored by Cash App and Blue Chew, and everybody's gonna download and be like, you know what? I kind of like it. Her first guest is gonna be Joe Rogan. He's like, so what did you think about in there? What were the jail food like? And she's like, I ate filet mignon. Like, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what these pores were complaining about.
But did you really get into cryptocurrency when you were in there and like NFTs? Yeah. Is he a big crypto bro? I forget. I haven't seen Joe in forever.
He actually hates crypto.
Does he? Damn.
Yeah, shout out Joe Rogan. He was right about a lot of things, including this mask mandate. But anyways.
Well, we digress.
Exactly.
And the last piece of media news before we ride off into the sunset and get more intimate with T-Tran.
Yeah.
Cheers. Clink.
Clink.
That's for
Remember, in Vietnamese, it's yo.
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 Yo, me gusta café.
Sounds like the beginning of a sea shanty. Yo.
I'm sorry, what? Yo.
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 Okay. Beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, last piece of news.
What isn't beautiful is the cancellation of Batgirl. Batgirl by Warner Brothers.
Yes. I definitely want to talk about this because
$90 million in production. Gone.
So I found this to be extremely bizarre because DC, Detective Comics, have been really fucking up their movies. People know the MCU. Everybody knows like the Marvel movies, and like what the Marvel movies have that no other kind of like cinematic experience has is it's like continuance, and how every single movie and show and even some of the animated stuff is all linked together. Yeah, so like
rewards the viewers for a big payoff.
Exactly. And what DC has, it's none of that, right? So they try to do that with like 2013 Man of Steel. And then, we get into the weeds about all these movies. But what people do know is that, like, movies like The Batman does well. The Joker did well. The Joker just got greenlit a couple months ago for a sequel.
Yeah, musical.
Yeah, it's going to be like a musical.
Oh, it's a musical?
Yep.
Yeah.
Lady Gaga's the
rumored to be Harley Quinn in the second one.
I would love to see that. Dude, she's a badass bitch.
She was great in A Star Is Born.
Yeah, I was just going to say, yeah.
My eyes lit up. I'm like, Luis is going to play the new Joker.
In the shadows.
And I was able to guess it right away without like reading the article yet, because like.
I was almost upset how quick he guessed it. I'm like, she's a really big star, and he's like, Lady Gaga. I'm like, did you just like look that up, or how did you guess that so quick?
Well, I figured I'm like it's gonna be like an Oscar-nominated film. Todd Phillips fucking knocked it out of the park with the first Joker movie, and it made $1 billion. So, like, DC has these like movies that are successful, but they're in their own respect, in their own little universe, in their own world. I love the Batman movie that just came out a couple months ago.
Bro, the one with Robert Pattinson?
Did you watch it?
No.
You haven't watched it?
No.
It's amazing. It's
Pretty good.
The best part about, personally for me speaking, the same composer behind the Ratatouille soundtrack is the same guy for the Batman. Someone's just
It all makes sense.
left
no
fascinated.
wonder I love
The score
it
for it is so
Completely
nice.
different movies.
Exactly.
Completely different movies, but same cooking.
Yeah. But there's been a new Warner Brothers executive, because this is actually really interesting. Discovery,
Oh, yeah.
the company that owns Discovery, like named Discovery, actually bought Warner Brothers, not the other way around. And so they've been like canceling everything and like not really fucking everything up, but just like things that were supposed to be made and come out are no longer being made and coming out.
That's surprised, because like I would have imagined it was the other way around.
That's what everybody's
Yeah.
like.
like the bigger fish eating.
You never
the-
hear about Discovery.
No.
But like
But
how,
you hear all about Warner Bros.
exactly how long has Discovery been around, and they're just like consistently putting out the fucking. I mean, hey, Shark Week must be
I was
fucking
just
killer.
gonna
Shark Week must be bringing in the money.
Bum, bum, bum,
But,
bum.
yeah, so there's a new executive CEO at Warner Brothers, and he's been like, we're not doing this, and
His first big order was like we're about to talk about Batgirl, but like $90 million.
they were $90 million deep It wasn't like the Game of Thrones that HBO was gonna do that were like I think they put like 20 million.
Wow.
They had done a pilot episode for like a new Game of Thrones show a couple years ago, and they scrapped that, and including the new Flash movie that's supposed to come out. But Ezra Miller is like constantly in the news for like beating up like children.
He pretty much is like a cult leader, which is crazy to even like joke about because like according to the accusations, like he's like grooming kids as young as 12. They live out on a farm full of pot and guns and like a compound essentially.
Yeah, you guys know who Ezra Miller is? He was in the
he's in the Fantastic Beasts as well.
Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them.
The new Harry
he's got
Potter
like a bowl
thing.
cut. He was in the first Justice League movie as the Flash.
Mm-hmm.
But he's been out in Hawaii just like hanging out, and like he's like every week he's in the news for like somebody trying to take a photo with him, and he like punched a woman in the face, like choked her out. He's staying with an Airbnb couple, and he like went into the room in the middle of the night, was like demanding money and like his stuff back. So not a nice guy.
No.
Maybe
Real
he
no
should
good.
be in Russia.
Maybe I would gladly trade Brittney Griner for Ezra Miller in a heartbeat. Because that
Just swap
guy,
them out.
that guy's a real fucking asshole.
Our POW should be movie actors and free any
Dude, I would
sovereign
trade.
citizens out there.
I would trade Ezra Miller, probably Jared Leto.
Definitely Leto.
And then we'll send a good one just so that
Balance.
yeah, just so that they can keep a good one. Oh shit, you got. So it's almost time. Are they coming here at 1:00?
I said around 1.
Oh, okay. All right.
Okay.
I'll just let him know when we're done.
Okay. We're a little tight on time, but
This we can put the little ribbon on this little segment right here. Now that I mean that's even before the CGI. $90 million just for like they had some big names to it. They had Michael Keaton, they had J.J. Simmons who did phenomenal in the Whiplash. If anyone's seen that, it's all about drums.
But yeah, they spent a lot of money on this movie that is not going to come out.
Not a goddamn bit. But that's how you clean up shop, you know.
But 90 million, dude.
You could cure the homeless problem in like Los Angeles and
It's not a homeless
Chicago. It's a homeless lifestyle.
It's a housing issue. But no, I mean, awful. Were you guys excited at all to see the Batgirl, or the ladies? Did you not give a fuck about it? As two female, do you feel empowered when you see a female superhero?
Not really, but you kind of keep me updated with like what movies are gonna come out. At least in that world, I didn't know that was coming out.
Batgirl?
So
Yeah, I didn't either.
No one did.
It doesn't affect me. I don't really know.
Do you both feel empowered when you see Wonder Woman, Black Widow, Miss Marvel? Do you like the female representation?
Aunt Jemima, Cooking Mama, Rachel Ray,
Rachel Ray.
the other superheroes.
The real OGs.
Not me personally. No. I mean, I don't.
Yeah. No, honestly, I actually just watched all the Marvel movies like just last year. Like we had just did a whole marathon because I've never watched any of them.
God damn.
And but my friend was the one who was showing me, and he skipped all of those ones. He was like, I don't like these ones. So I
Oh, the female-centered
and
ones?
yeah, I noticed that, and I was like, huh, interesting.
It,
Captain Marvel is a bad movie.
yeah, I will say they have done a really bad job with the female integration because, you know, I mean, you can tell by the poster behind you. I'm a big Marvel and comics person, like just in general, like anything that's a little nerdy, and like they do a really bad job of like integrating the female superheroes because they want to be like, yeah, she's badass and she's a woman, when in reality they should be like, no, she yeah, she's sassy but classy, when in reality they should just be like, no, like they don't have to go above and beyond because like it's already a statement when like she's on the screen of like, oh, it is a big deal.
Some good movies though. There's
Like Wonder Woman was great.
Really good.
Black Widow was phenomenal.
Wonder Woman was tough
Have
to
you-
sit through. 1 and 2.
Have you guys watched it's on Amazon Prime, but The Boys?
Yeah, The Boys
The
is great.
Boys.
Yeah,
The
and,
Boys.
and that
They
one
have-
does a really good job.
They do a wonderful job with the female cast because
Exactly.
they
Starlight?
Yeah.
don't put them out there.
Yeah.
They're just equally blended just as much as
Exactly.
it's just neutral.
Yeah, they're like, she is just as badass as the male
Yep.
in this respect, and he's good at this, she's good at this, and it's like that's good because they're not making it a big deal. Like if we want to do more integration between like races and gender and everything, it shouldn't have to feel like, oh, look at her or look at this person. They should just be like, no, like if we want to have all that integration, it should just be like, no, we want equality, and this is what we're having.
Yeah.
You got to write them better. Just give them actual meaningful stories
Yeah, exactly.
instead of being like the seductive, like, Scarlett Johansson even came out and said something about that. She's like in the first couple Iron Man, she's just like a
sex symbol.
yeah.
Yeah. And they actually like show that in the show of The Boys, like the blonde one. They were like sexualizing her, made her like wear a costume that like pushes her tits up, like, and she was just like a normal. Average person.
Exactly.
Like, and they show that part in the show.
Yeah.
And
She's like came from a farm, and she's like a hard worker, but she's also a badass, and
Yeah.
she's a superhero. Like they do a really good job. That's actually a really good highlight of it all. So overall, sad to see Batgirl get canceled because I would have liked to see that, but overall,
Yeah. Overall, not
would
that
have watched it.
every good thing must come to an end, and to fill that void, to fill that hole, to fill that space that's so much needed. You're about to witness the writers' room. for our next
So
coming-
Phil and I were workshopping something, and I'm really excited for you ladies to hear it. You may be familiar with the show Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt, which is actually one of the most watched and top-rated shows that Netflix has made, original. You may have heard of The Mindy Project, which is a show about Indian character living life and trying to get work as an actor, but being, typecast.
They're both from The Office, aren't they?
They're both, they're both
Wow.
from The Office. Exactly. But
Huh.
female forward shows. And Phil, I will let you take the floor for, we're still workshopping the name, but please continue.
For a working title, maybe Spilling the Tea with tea?
Spilling
like
the
that,
tea.
something like that,
But
something
then,
like that.
spelled, okay.
I dig that.
We need a strong voice, and like I said, the empowered vigilante female crime fighting scene. And this the better way to tell your story would be in a show, right? Maybe Bro Tastes Plus or whatever we go forward, but
On the BTT network.
the BTT network, and you'll be pretty much playing yourself, right?
I can do that.
An exaggerated version of yourself.
And that's where most of the great acting comes from, playing a version of yourself to the up teeth. And this is where we come in with Spilling the Tea. We'll picture you in a modern metropolis city.
Here, let's go through the pitch right now. Hey, young man, nice to meet you.
Hello.
Luis Pablo, FX.
I am.
What do you have presented for us here today? We want diversity, we want humor, and we want drama.
Yeah. My name's Phil Goldberg,
Okay?
and I know all
Oh.
about the business. Goldberg, yes.
Yeah, absolutely. I would love to hear what you have going on today.
Shalom. Thank you.
Okay. I might not listen to the rest of the pitch after that.
You lost me.
God damn. Yeah. Oh
I
my
also have
God.
to scratch that off.
Yeah.
your notebook.
Okay. Let's get the next.
We'll go. I'll go
Next.
back to the lobby on that one. Oh
No,
my God.
let's hear about your show. I hear your agent has really, and this is the actress, I'm guessing, who's
Yes,
playing
most-
herself.
Most definitely, most
Yeah,
definitely.
okay.
And the things that most young adults struggle is trying to find their identity while going through the pressure of the social world.
Okay, I'm on board.
Our protagonist, T Tran, no relation to you.
Is she trans?
Trans?
Are you trans?
That's my last name.
Are you trans? It would help if
Trans.
you are. We can get a lot more viewers. that way.
Well, you know what? We'll save that for season 3 because this is going to be a 10-season thing. Once we get season 1 off the ground, it's going to be a marketable thing.
We want a 2 seasons maximum with a year extension at the end.
Exactly. And we
Okay.
got to hook them in with
If
season
you're saying
1.
10 seasons, you might not have me.
We're going to take this the slot for the 70s show, essentially. They ran for like 8 seasons and 9
Okay.
seasons. We can get something better than that.
Okay.
And we got our protagonist,
Okay.
Ty Tran. Now we need a conflict, right? So we look at the everyday struggle, trying to keep up with your mental, your health, your well-being, trying to let the stress of the world take you down. You're working 2 jobs, hustle, the bustle.
Okay. What are the 2 jobs?
You are an upscale fashion designer,
Okay.
working with some of the prima donnas of the city.
Okay.
Some of these people that want specific things, and it's like the Devil's of Prada.
Is the
essentially.
second job a superhero? Because that would really help ratings.
No. We need something more community based. Maybe
Okay.
like a police officer.
Fashion designer police officer.
So you can get your face out in the public, right?
Okay.
But just the fact that you're trying to do so much for your community,
Okay.
and your community is just hating you for being a police officer.
Okay.
That's where the struggle comes in, right?
Okay.
So we set up with the first episode, getting to know you and your lifestyle and your work, and one part that's integrated into the show is family. Family is very important, right?
Yeah.
Because that's your roots is very important. Your family, your friends, your tight-knit community.
Okay.
As you'll see it throughout your actions, not you, but the actress you'll be portraying. Once you see your actions through that, you'll be able to, as a viewer, get a sense that you're very well organized, well meticulated. You have everything down to a timing thing.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay.
So here comes the conflict.
Can we have a scene in the show where she is walking down a park and they're roller skating and then a little Asian girl falls and the dad helps her stand up and says, "I'm proud of you," and then she starts crying because her dad never told her that?
Yes.
Okay.
I like that.
We need that in episode 1. We need that in the pilot.
Episode.
Damn, I feel triggered.
I love that. The connection already because
yeah.
she cares so much about her family, but yet
Right.
still didn't get the same reciprocated love.
Right.
Yearning for it.
Okay.
All right. I like that. I like that.
Yeah,
The-
telling my life story.
But season 2, maybe episode 2, conflict. Here comes the
Yeah.
turn to whole world upside down. The father, we haven't met the father yet, right? You're off. The father's
Phone
off the
calls,
scene, phone calls.
voicemails.
Yeah. And the little interaction with the
Yeah.
little daughter and whatnot.
Would it be fucked up if this took place before 9/11 and then in season 2, 9/11 happens?
I like that.
Just that we get real and people are like feel really emotionally attached.
Time and date matters.
Exactly, because then there'll be like scenes of her like helping people out, and then the dad will call her up and be like, "I never told you this, but I'm proud."
That's
of
how we
you."
get the. Yeah, I like that. I like that
that's season 2
actually.
finale.
You don't want to show that it's exactly 9/11. It's just like hints of it, like
Yeah, you'll be like, national disaster, worse than
the
Pearl
office,
Harbor.
the lights go off, like
Yeah, exactly.
you hear screaming,
It
and then
won't- it-
cuts back to present day.
Right.
Bam.
It won't be 9/11, but it'll be like insinuated.
Algorithm wise, what's hot right now? Because we're not making a show for like substance and value.
No.
We're trying to keep up with the trend.
Exactly. We're going to be a TikTok.
Algorithm.
Whatever's trending on TikTok, we will write into the episode, even if it's aired a year later.
A couple of weeks ago, or perhaps this year even, there was that trend where like people were taking like real people from the Holocaust and like I'm so and so and I survived so and so, like historical memorial pieces like that were trending. We get that back with 9/11. We make it American.
I think you may have lost me.
Right?
Okay.
I don't know if we want to disgrace the dead. That might be a little.
We're honoring them, playing homage.
Here, this is
Homage.
actually my assistant here. Any notes that you want to implement? Any questions you have for the?
The Twin Towers is 9/11 is season 3.
Okay.
See,
It is very hard for me to get into a show, and I don't. This ain't it.
This ain't
Okay.
it.
Yes.
You lost me.
season because we need algorithm.
Yeah.
Season 4, eventually you're gonna transition to Theo. Eventually, but what causes the
Oh, you know
transition
what? I found
is
it.
9/11.
I got it. We're gonna have this a 90-second scene that's gonna go popular on TikTok, where her dad calls her up and says, "I'm proud of you, T," and she goes, "It's Theo now," and then they hug.
What happened in
Yes.
the fashion designer part?
Well, yeah, that is a good point.
You
That is a
totally
good
just
point.
dropped it.
That's still season 1. That's still season.
Okay.
We're building a ladder.
Here, I'm gonna let you take my assistant. Take over for a second.
Wait.
I need some. What's gonna sell you on the show? What's gonna make you sign up for 3 seasons?
I don't know.
See,
It,
it sounds like you have cold feet here. Let me tell you the main conflict for season 1. And this,
if she doesn't write the check, the show's not greenlit.
you're gonna love the conflict in season 1. And if doesn't bring you in, then I'm out of here. I'm out of here right now. The same father that you could tell there's a strained relationship there, right? Character. D-Train. Second episode, you finally meet the family. The father sits her down.
so The first episode is what again?
We get familiarized with her lifestyle, her
Okay,
meticulous,
okay.
everything down to the book, making sure
It's
got
the
so.
pilot.
So we're just
Mhm.
meeting
Getting
just
to know the
T
character.
in this
Exactly.
first episode.
Mhm.
Okay.
In the second episode, you finally meet the home life. The goes back to her parents and has a family dinner. Dad takes her to the basement. I got a secret to tell you. I've been putting this off, but now that you're old enough, and no. This is where we find the protagonists finding out that they aren't who they are. They've been adopted. So now there's a lost sense of like, am I this boss ass queen doing everything because of my family roots or because of my passion? Is it because I'm Asian and I'm on top of everything? Or is it I was just really passionate about fashion design?
Not police work.
Not, like, fashion comes with the community.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. So, and that the rest of the 10 other episodes of season 1, it's going to be you going through your hobbies and like, is this because of who I am or because of what I thought my family was? Yeah. Mm-hmm. You can get into all kinds of wacky.
We're not
No?
giving you right now.
If you want to show, I could just spill my whole life story right now. And that'd probably be okay. Much better version of it.
I think you lost me. You know what? You know what lost me is when you went to the basement and said she was adopted, and then she started having identity crisis. She's like, "Do I like sewing because I'm Asian, or was that a lie the whole time?" Because then it's like, oh, that's really signifying the bad stereotype about Asian people. Is she also a bad driver and only takes the subway? Is that also?
As season 1 progresses, you start to take a bigger, closer look. Like your grandparents owns a giant laundromat firm, stuff like that.
So we're playing into every stereotype possible.
Every possible stereotype.
I feel like this is a show that would be greenlit in the 90s.
Because it's strong. Strong. That's what we need.
Are there parts about your actual life that are more interesting than this?
Yeah, for sure.
All right, let's hear it.
You weren't thinking of transitioning after 9/11? Because that's season 3 and 4.
Yeah, pitch your show. Okay, your writer isn't selling the show properly.
We should each go, what would be the pitch to your show?
To our personal show. Okay, we'll start with T. We'll start with T.
Yeah.
You gotta start with the trauma in season 1.
Yeah.
Because that's how you learn the character.
Right, you get
learn
attached.
The traumas, yeah. And
Exactly.
then season 2 is like where she goes and does her action because of all you know in season 1. Right?
Exactly.
Now, what is the cause of the trauma in season 1? Is it a world event caused by outside terrorists?
Well, let's see. I'm an Asian female.
Okay, say no more.
That's
Say
already
no more.
trauma right there.
A lot of
Growing
cards
up
stacked
with
against you.
Asian, traditional Asian rules while growing up in America,
Growing up in the Midwest.
in the Midwest.
Just even dating life.
There comes a lot of trauma with that.
Yeah.
We can show a little snippet of like you on the dating apps and like just like, oh my god, I love Asian people. This is like that being fetishized.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we were talking about that.
Which is a real thing.
It's a huge thing, yeah, and it's crazy.
Yeah.
It's usually a very specific version of a white guy.
Mm.
Who's
It
like,
is.
Who's like really
It
into
is.
anime
Mm-hmm.
and like really likes going to get sushi, but only orders the angel roll. It's
Yeah.
like
They're usually obsessed with like Korean everything, just like
Whiny.
where is the worst version of that? Because you have lived in both the Midwest, in the South, and now in the Northeast
yeah. I also lived in the West Coast for like a week.
for a decent week. Okay.
For a week.
West Coast living?
Yeah.
I got a friend of mine who is Chinese and like from China, from Jiangsu, and he said that when he was living in the Midwest, he also had an American name. When he was living in the Midwest, he like never got treated well, and like everybody was just like literally pushed him aside and was a real like an asshole to him just because he was like an Asian minority. But now in the Midwest, everybody just treats him like normal.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I'm sorry, on
West Coast.
Not
right?
on the West Coast. That's what I'm sorry. Did you notice that?
It was kind of weird. So when I was in the West Coast, this is also when I was like super young, but they literally wouldn't let me sit next to them. Like I was a kid, and this is like recess time. They wouldn't let me like sit next to them because I was Asian, and they were all like Latinos and Latinas, and I'm literally growing up in a town full of
minorities.
Mexican,
Yeah.
and it's completely different here.
That's the one thing I learned from like podcasting, being part of Road Tastes with you and Juan. Mexicans are pretty racist.
Mexicans are the most racist.
So are Vietnamese.
Vietnamese people too?
Super.
Like towards everybody?
Yeah. Like my brother.
What are some of the things he says out of curiosity?
Okay, so as you guys know, like you guys would always come over to my house back in the
we
day.
can bleep this part off if you want or anything like that.
We can bleep the words he says.
I mean,
Nah, we're good.
he doesn't give a fuck.
He stands his ground.
He'll tell us right now. So you burritos
But
and
no,
you fucking
when
tacos.
Juan and all the boys would always come over. They always came over after football practice and bring their own pizzas and stuff. And my brother, he put out a sign on our garage door and said, "Mexicans come in."
Hey, you know what? To be fair, sometimes they get a little loud. All right? He was probably trying to study, and these young fucking crazies were
Boats
walking
are
in.
stomping all over the place.
God damn.
But he now has to deal with it because his stepdaughter is half Mexican now. So
Well, there you
he's
go.
got to take it in.
Life has come around. Jesus.
Full circle, full circle.
Exactly. That is a full circle right there. God damn. That's crazy.
Full brown circle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now that you have lived in Madison, Atlanta, in New York City now is where you're currently living.
Mm-hmm.
What are the biggest differences between, we'll just even talk about like the Midwest and like, I know that you're, still 25, I'm guessing.
26.
26. Do you see like kids getting treated differently, even from like an outside point of view to how you were treated here, like in New York City?
Treated differently, like
Just like being integrated better and just like the city doing a better job of like, there's a lot of diversity here and we just don't care. Or is there still those subsections of like these people hang out with them?
yeah,
These groups.
It's usually what I've learned from moving city to city. It's always like that, and you can't really get away with it. Everyone's always kind of gentrified in every
Yeah.
area. And so, like, the Asians will always hang out with the Asians. And you'll find that a lot in Madison. Like, you'll find groups always hang out with each other.
Very cliquey.
Yeah, very cliquey. It's really, like, the most diverse place is always going to be, like, downtown, midtown of, like, the central areas. Because that's where the people are the most social. That's where subways and, like, honestly, like, I've met the most people going on the subway every day.
Yeah.
Like, it's weird. I don't have to meet them online or anything. It's just interacting with them on the train. But then
Interesting.
outside of that, when you don't have like public transportation, you're just in your car, you're more introverted.
Yeah.
That's when you're like, you start to notice there's more cliquey people out there.
From an outside perspective, you can take a good gander at it. Plus, with the as Luis was saying, the different types of subgroups and whatnot, and people are getting treated differently. With the rise of like Asian hate this past couple of years with COVID, and then just ignorant people just like looking at an Asian person like, or getting mad about masks and all this stuff.
Oh yeah, and I find it so funny because like you can look at me and you can hate me all you want, but bitch, I'm from Wisconsin. Like, like I literally grew up here in America.
That is really funny.
It's bonkers. Especially in the bigger city, because you figure the bigger cities are a big giant melting pot. Just constantly walking around like something's always out to get me. It's just that anger,
And one thing I have noticed, like in New York, all the Asians are always wearing masks just to avoid Asian hate.
Wow, that's really shitty. And we've talked about it on this podcast a lot, but I think that truly most people are just very ignorant, and they're just now more than ever trapped in algorithm. Like we try to be very socially conscious of like, what media we're consuming and like reading up on the sources. And when a story gets put out, you try to find more than one news article about it. But here specifically, like we go to a very interesting gym, we can call it. Yeah, it's, people wearing like their MAGA shirts and hats and stolen election. And but then the thing is, they'll like hold the door open for me and just like, oh, how's it going, young man? And like they're just genuinely nice. And then it just makes you think, oh, these people aren't actually evil or they're just stupid.
No,
They're just really fucking stupid.
It's kind of crazy because I've met a lot of different people in my life. I've hung out with people, made friends with people who have completely different like ways to go about things.
Yeah.
But what I've learned is everyone has the same morals, values, and everything. Everyone has a middle ground.
Most people just want to be like. The other day we were working out and she was wearing a very funky T-shirt that had the word Queen on it, and then like some other writing that we're not like dissecting it, but a guy's just staring at her. This older guy's just staring at her. He's like, "What does your shirt say?" And it's like, "Oh, I don't know. It just looks cool." And he just keeps staring at it, like for no reason. And we're like, okay. And
Never
so
seen
it's like-
tie dye before?
It was literally like a tie. It was a
Yeah,
tie-dye
cool.
shirt.
I thought it looked cool. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, and it was like
Weird.
nothing.
Okay.
Yeah, and he's like, huh. But he just kept, it's like, sir?
Like, what are you taking in?
Yeah, like, what?
Uncomfortable. He kept like staring. I'm like,
You know what you do in those situations? You just stare at them right back. And
So what does
like,
your
do
shirt
it
say?
very quickly.
Yeah. What does your shirt say?
Yeah.
he got like offended because we asked him like, what are you looking at?
Yeah. Yeah, he was, it's like, this isn't for you. Like, what the, like, we're trying to work out, and like, we're together at a piece of equipment, and he happens to be next to us. And it's like, this doesn't fucking concern you. But people are just so, like I said, stupid and like oblivious. And then they'll go online and be just like consuming more dumb media that feeds their like intrusive thoughts of like what people are doing and like how different cultures are and how is that affecting us or how that will affect us. And then handsome Tucker Carlson will get on the TV and he's like their hero because he's like a decently handsome guy who can put two sentences together, and they'll be like, that makes sense.
Have you guys ever watched The Social Dilemma on Netflix?
That's with Akash Singh.
I can't remember.
Akash Singh.
But it's
pretty sure.
the main person. He is a software engineer for Google and Facebook, and like, and they talk about like the back end of like creating social media.
Yes. Okay.
And then they talk about like how
I was thinking about the American Patriot, but you're talking about the movie, The Social
movie.
Dilemma. Yes.
Yeah,
I
it's
know
like
what
a
you're talking about.
documentary.
Yes.
For
yes.
like the tech side of things, and
Correct.
it talks about how like in certain areas when you search something on Google, you'll always see different results depending on what you look up and where you are. So like if you're in a area where maybe it's very
Republican. Like
or
we are
liberal, like you're always going to see that side of it, like because that's what you're interested in.
Right.
You're not going to click on any pages
Right.
if it doesn't agree with your interest.
Damn, creating that vacuum, that world that you're
because
like,
that's how social media is created. They
Right.
want you to be the product of addiction. They want you
Yeah.
to be addicted to it. They want this phone in your hand
I know.
24/7.
And like we were saying earlier, when you hate something, you will pay way more attention to it than when you love it. And, you know, they just want like an emotion attracted and like hooked up to whatever it is. Because I noticed that at my, you know, I recently changed jobs. At my last one, it was in Kenosha, Wisconsin, where the hero Kyle Rittenhouse, you know, saved all those people and all those dealerships and all those cars, which I hope you got a good deal on afterwards.
yeah, thanks. I was just saying earlier, thanks to Rittenhouse, I no longer have to use child safety in my car because he killed the pedophile.
Exactly.
Two of them, I think.
One of them. And the other one was a skateboarder. So,
Yeah.
but besides the point, those people were very like conservative and thought that Kyle Rittenhouse did nothing wrong and were very vocal about it and were very adamant that he was a good guy. And then when I told them that I was leaving for many reasons, including the fact that everybody at that job was conservative, they're like, "Oh, where are you going?" I was like, "Madison." And they're like, "Oh man, good luck." And it's like, yeah, because all the media they're consuming is telling them like these liberal cities are like losing their way and they're destroying the city, and it's like there is nothing going on anywhere. Like everywhere you go is the same. People are doing their own thing. There's danger with a bigger population always, but for the most part, like what are they worried about? That I'm gonna go over there and be like, oh, suddenly I'm trans or something, but like would that be the worst part? Like they think that these like liberal cities have like the worst, and then the liberal cities are like, where are you coming from? And I'm like, I'm coming from here, and they're like, oh,
Yeah,
Did-
it's literally vice versa.
yeah,
It's
and
the
they're like,
same
oh
thing.
man, did you feel safe? Did people bring guns to work? And you're like, well, no. Like, yeah, but they literally think that. They think these people are from like the sticks and like
They
breed with their
do.
cousins. And you're like,
Mhm.
well, neither side is bad, but also neither side is good. Like everybody's just like in their bubble and like so fucking attached, like you said, to their phone and just so ignorant and stupid.
Yeah, they're probably like worried about you. Like, oh, what if he gets like assaulted by like a person in drag trying to read them a story or something?
Yeah, homeless drag queen. It's
Yeah.
like,
Story time. You know?
yeah, it just doesn't make any sense.
But it's so crazy because, like, if you think about it, whether you think it's good or bad, it always depends on how you perceive it.
Mhm.
No, for sure. And it also like the information that you take, like how, like what you do with it. Because
Mhm.
you can read a crazy headline like Kim Kardashian is in therapy because her and Pete broke up, and you're like,
Oh shit, they broke up.
yeah, they broke up.
See, I clearly don't keep up with the Kardashians.
Yeah, but you take in information like that, and you're like, what do you do
Mhm.
with it? You know, do you just like toss it aside, or do you like, damn, like what's gonna happen to Kanye, and like, are they gonna get back together, and like, what is gonna happen to the Yeezy brand? Is he still gonna be collaborating with Gap? And like, you can go just down a rabbit hole of like useless information,
Yeah.
and like,
And I
How will
try
this
to stay
affect
away from
SNL?
all of that.
yeah,
I try to stay away from all of that. Because
Yeah.
I'm just like,
Mm-hmm.
well, with me moving everywhere, I'm like, I can't focus on that shit.
yeah. But then it's like, right. I like that attitude of like, I'm just gonna focus on me and then do that, and then the other side of that argument is like, well, then, are you doing what your part to be socially conscious, to be like doing the right thing, and
But
like,
absolutely. Because if I'm focusing on me,
mhm.
I can only help society if I can grow.
Mm.
You know? Like,
Oh, I
I
see what you're
can't
saying.
do what I need to do unless if I work on myself.
Right.
So, like,
That's how we finished season 1. I hope you know that. It all comes full circle right there.
but yeah, like, I can't contribute to society because if I get too involved in it, I'll go down this tunnel.
Yeah.
And then how am I supposed to contribute to society? from
Yeah.
there?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But if
that-
I'm working on myself and I'm mentally strong, you can say whatever the fuck you want to say to me,
yeah.
and it's not going to faze me.
It's not gonna break your constitution.
Yeah.
Right. That's, you know what? I think that's a good way to wrap it up.
Mm-hmm.
That was really good. Thank you for coming on the show. Any remaining words that we want to say?
Yeah. Do you have any anything you want to promote or plug or anything people should check out or?
Actually, no, I have a question for you guys.
For us? Oh, let's hear it.
Yeah.
Okay, this is my go-to question, and this is how I
Mhm.
kind of like make connections with everyone.
Okay.
So, if you guys could do anything that you want to do, no like conflict, no money getting in the way, anything that you want to do, what would you do?
I know my answer.
I know my answer too.
All right.
I would buy land in Wyoming. All right, good farmland. Now I'm not gonna be a farmer, Phil. What I'm gonna do, pretty unethical. Not that I'm just gonna say it out loud, but I'm gonna raise a bunch of corgis, a corgi farmer, or a corgi puppy mill, but ethical. Just for my own
free range corgis.
free range corgis. Big plot of land. Morning, Phil. I wake up. I walk all the corgis I need to.
You know, I think you're lying because
Mm.
you constantly bitch about your corgi. You constantly complain about Princess. Constantly, you're like, she's a fucking bitch. I hate her.
She's royal.
You have said I want to put her down on this podcast
Multiple times.
multiple times.
If the inflation and recession gets bad, she's out the door. She's out the door. You listening, Joe Biden?
And here you are, like, I'll do 100 of them. One's not good enough.
A whole clan of corgis
Yeah.
floating around.
For my answer, I would want to. I think soccer in America is very unindustrialized, and I think if we want to keep kids off the street, because like, you know, people use basketball, tennis, like all these sports to, you know, keep their kids active and like in something, and it also like really helps kids with like identity. And I think soccer is one of those few sports like basketball, like football, where you're an individual part of a bigger team, so you always feel like that responsibility, but you also feel like you need a lead, and like vice versa. I would just like start creating like complexes around the country where it's like soccer all year round, and like, you know, you have a whole system. So That's what I would do. I think that'd be really cool because we don't see enough of those. There's like few in like small cities, but then it's like expensive. So you should definitely have like a better program for all of that.
You know, I like that because you can get some predatory contracts. Be like, you got phenomenal skill at 12. Let me sign you up for 20 years. So if you get picked up,
Well, that's what they do in.
Let it be more?
That's what they do in like the rest of the world. Like they'll have these kids like they're in school, like during the day, so they go like 8 hours, and then at night they just train at the facility, and then they all do their homework together.
Running drills
and then
and
it's like,
stuff.
hey, you're not doing your homework. Like, what's going on? Like, you're not gonna be able to go to practice today. And then like
It's a whole like community.
it's an academy, and then it gives them a sense of
accountability.
Yeah, exactly, 100%. Let me pass the microphone to our producer.
our super producer.
Are you referring to like as a job or just like in general? Like
In general, like if you could impact some way, what would you do?
See, I'm doing good for the world. Raising a new generation of corgis.
I don't know. I have no idea.
It's a tough question.
It is a tough question. That's not some. I don't know.
She thinks about it. What would you do?
I am super passionate about like our foster care system. Yeah. I would totally like change our foster care. Like what I want to do is like I said, like working on myself is all part of my contribution to society because I want to be a like mental life coach for foster kids because a lot of them age out of the system and then they get left with nothing. And so I want to have like that program where it's like when you age out, you can join our program and we'll coach you through like life and how to get through it, even because no matter your situation, it's not about where you are, what happened to you. It's about what are you going to do?
Exactly. How you handle it and how you get through it.
Yeah. So that's what I want to do.
Those are really good answers. Jesus.
Including the corgi one.
Yeah, including the corgi ones. I definitely can't top those answers. I don't know. It probably have to be something with like anxiety, like helping in that way. Just like, I don't know. I have like social anxiety. Like I have to think about everything. Even right now, I'm just like, my brain is going like 1,000 miles per hour. It's like, what do I say? I don't know. Probably like help kids just like be more aware of their like anxiety and how to cope a little bit more with it. I don't know. That's just kind of.
Hey, we always need that.
We with our three like life plans, I guess.
It's all four actually.
We can all piggyback off each other.
We'll have kids with social anxiety who are foster kids. Put them in the soccer academy, and while they're at the soccer academy, they have a part-time job working at the puppy mill. And then when they get older, we'll put them in the mental coach, and then we'll send them on their way.
Exactly.
They'll have very specific soccer skills and how to fucking pet dogs.
I could train some of them to be anxiety corgis.
We're going to
Exactly.
create the new generation of kids.
Yeah, and they all have a fucking
Well,
service emotional dog.
Service emotion
Emotional
corgi.
support animal.
Yeah, and they're all corgis. All right. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show, T.
Absolutely.
Great question. Phil, anything you want to add?
Oh, I'm glad we're all in one piece. I'm glad we're all. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being here. And yeah, can't wait for next week.
Yeah, and Bro Taste This has been really quiet on all fronts because Juan is getting married, because I started a new job, and so people are going to see a lot more stuff like happening now that all of that is.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
If you wanted feet pics, they're coming.
So, Adriana, any words before we go? Congratulations to Juan and Alo, and we'll see you all next week.